Ready?
Yep. So what are the two chemicals we're using?
Cyanotype,
Potassium.
part A, part B, ammonium iron citrate, and potassium ferricyanide. So we mix 1 to 1. Once you mix them, they probably have a few hours kind of shelf life. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna brush the emulsions on the paper, put it in the dryer, let it dry. When it's dry, it has to be completely dry. Then we're gonna put a digital negative and put everything in a UV box to print it, because it needs UV. You can only do it with UV. You put it in the middle. And that should be enough for this piece of paper, and then with the brush you just go. So you don't want to put too much, because if not, the paper gets too wet. You know, obviously it takes long to dry, but also when you wash it, when you develop it in water, it kind of, if the emulsion it's embedded in the paper too much, then it doesn't come off.
And we're taking them
with the brush, that once you finish, wash them straight away. If you're not very hardened, all right, and then just put it in there. And here, and obviously leave a little bit of. But they have to be completely dry before you use them, especially if you use the negative. Then when we have paper is well dry in the dryer, negative ink on the negative is really well dry. Then we put them together. What we do, we're gonna put a little bit of tape, so that way we can check if the exposure is right. Let's tape the negative on the paper, because we may need to
check for the.
Let's check if the exposure is right. So if it's not taped, it's not gonna go back to the same
spot. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we put them this way in the UV. There are UV lamps. So when the noise is the vacuum, then you set the time here. So at the moment it's 1 minute, so maybe we want, let's start with 10.
So first of all you need to, okay.
So 10 minutes
is up.
So it turns off automatically the lights, but then we need to turn off the vacuum. Okay, turn off the vacuum before you open it. Again, we try not to move the negative, just in case we need to do a little bit longer. I probably would do a little bit longer on this. See here where it's dark, it starts becoming a little bit gray. Generally 20 minutes works pretty well. Let's check this one. See that, those areas that have become kind of gray? Yeah, that's sort of an indication that the dark area is well developed. So because the problem is the highlights, if they are not printed enough in the water, they just wash off. You won't have any details in them. Yeah. Okay, so it gets developed in water, and basically we need to wash off the cyanotype emulsion that hasn't been affected by the light. And while we're washing it, it will become blue. So let's try. Yellow now. So we need to remove that yellow stain from the paper, and that's when it's fully developed. So if we had exposed it for less, all this light tone would just wash off, you know, especially in the highlights. So it's a combination of exposure and the negative being perfect. So that's why probably the curve is a little bit soft, because you know the way you don't have too much contrast on them. It just depends on how you want the final print. I tend to print a little bit more contrasty, so I get a better blue. See, now the whites are clear, and that's enough. If you think you need to make it a little bit lighter, you can leave it in the water for longer. I'll just leave it here so that it just dry on our own.